Welcome to Los Jerkos. I'm Nate.
I'm Travis.
Today we are smoking Aganorsa leaf, Supreme Leaf Perfectos.
It's been a while since I've had this.
Smoking them in honor of my friend Jeremy, who supplied us with a lot of questions for today. A lot of what we'll be talking about stem from his questions and recommendations.
This is your day, Jeremy.
Jeremy spoken.
Your fucking day, bud. Enjoy it. We're not gonna ever do this again. No fucking requests, nothing.
Are you sure? Because I was thinking the next one we could smoke some Gurkhas for my boy Cowboy.
Fuck that. You better find a favorite cigar, a different favorite cigar. Gurkhas for Gore-Tex. That's a good name for our next podcast.
Gurkhas for Gore-Tex. Gore-Tex is actually Jeremy's twin brother, so we'd have to smoke an Aganorsa for him too. How's it off the rip?
Tight draw.
Tight draw? Cut it some more. Get all up in there.
Cut it some more?
Or do you want the perfect draw?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, shit, I don't know. Let's do perfect draw.
Mine's got a fantastic draw.
Well,
That's that Perfecto.
Yeah, must be fucking nice, bud. No, I'm just fucking with you.
It is nice.
Must be fucking nice.
Got some intro music and outro music for this episode. We skimmed through a whole bunch of instrumentals and decided on that one. Let us know what you guys think. If it's annoying, we'll maybe change it. Or if we think you're annoying and you say it's annoying, you can go fuck yourself.
If you think it's annoying, fucking record your own shit. Send it to us. And we'll consider it. I had time for all this bitching and shit. Think it's fucking annoying. Skip over it. They got a fucking skip button, I think.
Yeah. This is a pretty good strengthy cigar for the morning time.
Oh my god, yeah. Robust.
Very robust.
It's alright, though.
Which Vitolas have you had of the Supreme
Oh,
Leaf?
fuck, I have no idea. I've probably only smoked it once, twice, if I was lucky.
Yeah.
Actually, probably twice, because I'm pretty sure you gave me one, and then I've smoked it before.
I think I may have gave you a Toro.
I'm typically a Toro guy, so more than likely, I've only smoked Toro.
The OG Robusto were the best of these. I still like these. I just think a lot of the times these need some age on them. The ones we're smoking here have over a
there
year.
we go. That's the move.
We got these in December of 2023. Perfect draw did it?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Don't ever give up on a cigar, folks.
Don't ever do it. Do yourself a favor and get a perfect draw.
They're fucking handmade. It's bound to happen. Something. Tight draw, weird burn issues. It fucking happens. It's handmade.
Especially on a cigar that has tapered ends.
Yeah. Use your fucking hands and try to make something and tell me it's perfect your first fucking try.
Yeah.
I'm fucking grumpy, I guess. I don't know.
It's the morning.
It's the morning. I'm not a morning person. Alright, Jeremy. Today's your day, bud. 90% of this day is all your shit.
Yes, sir.
Aganorsa leaf, all your questions. We're hitting them all because they're actually really good questions.
So, usually we end episodes with questions asked, but I think let's kick it off with the questions.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of these questions are things we wanted to talk about anyway, so this is just an easy segue into it.
Yeah.
So,
Jeremy asked, what qualities do you look for when considering a box buy?
wow. I mean, as much as I hate to say this, as the first thing, just getting a good deal, like buying a good cigar for a nice deal,
Yeah.
that's primarily the first thing. Obviously, if I'm buying a box, I've already smoked the cigar. I dig the cigar a lot. Most times. I think that's my first thing. I'm looking for good discount. I'm getting a cigar I really like. I'm getting a 20 count, 25 count.
I agree with that. I mean, the first thing for me is I gotta like the cigar. I don't.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of tired of taking chances on some things. So,
I still
or
do.
at least on a box buy. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
take. I'll take a chance with a single cigar or even a 5-pack, but on a box buy,
Yeah.
I don't want to take a chance.
That's
and then,
fair. That's
so when
fair.
I know I like the cigar, I'm like you. I go for the deals.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places that are. It's just the way the market is right now that you can find some good deals if you look.
So let's say.
And on stuff that you wouldn't think you would get a deal on.
Yeah. So let's say. I know you said you don't do it very often anymore, but let's say you are taking a jump. You're taking a risk on a cigar. What is it that you're looking for? Besides the deal aspect.
Well, okay, so actually, I need to take that back because I did take a chance actually recently. And it's because of something you mentioned there. So I took a chance on the Placencia Year of the Snake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
you did.
I saw that at a deal. I mean, it was like $200 off the box.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a really good feeling about that cigar.
We just opened those up at the lounge.
I know.
I'm going to
I
smoke
know.
one.
I had a really good feeling about that cigar. I've been really digging the Fuego, and for some reason that cigar just kind of reminded me of it based on looks alone.
Does it taste like it?
It's got some similar profiles, yes, but it is like a way more amped up Fuego. It's a really good cigar in my
Quick
opinion.
smoke for a Lancero, or still reasonable?
It's reasonable. I would argue it's typical. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't last as long. But when I smoked it, I nubbed it, and if I could have smoked it all the way like through, where there was nothing left but ash, I would have. It was that good. I mean, there was no ammonia at the end or anything like that.
I'll have to try it.
It might not be your jam. You know, to me, it's my jam because and the reason I say that is because a lot of people give me shit about liking the Fuego so much. It doesn't seem like a really hot cigar to people. But that snake, I took a chance on that box buy.
You based it off of aesthetic, essentially.
I based it off of aesthetic.
And what you knew from the brand.
Not really aesthetic. I mean,
Oh, you said it looked like the Fuego.
the wrapper, but not the box of it or Year of the Snake
yeah.
branding or anything. That didn't have anything to do with it, except maybe the Culebra, because I thought that would be a good idea when I take my long trip to New York.
Yeah.
Split that bad boy up with my buddy on that road trip.
Have you bought a box off of just aesthetic?
Like branding.
Yeah.
Some
Some of my first box purchases.
Yeah, it had to have been a long time ago. I think I I didn't buy a box of the stuff back then. I like a bundle. This is so stupid, but I got a bundle of the Sons of Anarchy cigar back in the day
Oh, yeah.
because
Hell yeah.
I just thought it was dope looking, you know.
I mean, I've bought countless numbers of boxes when I first started based off of aesthetic. That Macanudo vintage. Dude, metal band.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I don't know
So
dog
I
shit
bought
about
that
this.
cigar because of the aesthetic. Yeah.
Gurkha War Pig, the Berserkers that Gurkha made. Like, it's just like band look, what the box looks like. I mean, now, if I'm taking a risk on cigars, I'm looking at the blend.
Yeah.
I know I like Ecuadorian tobacco. If I see something with Ecuadorian tobacco, I don't know dog shit anything about the cigar, I'd probably take a risk.
a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's totally different from when you're new. It really whatever catches the eye is pretty important. But as you get more experience, it's brand recognition. Knowing
Yeah.
that you like a brand, you can take a chance more often on a brand you really like. I mean, there's a lot of tatuaje fanatics, and
Oh
I
yeah.
know a lot of them guys. They just buy a box without ever smoking one,
Oh yeah.
just because it is, to them, there's high potential for that to be a good box.
Yeah. I mean, when it's funny how you grow. Like when you first start smoking cigars, it's about the aesthetic of how it'll look cool while you're smoking it, and then as you get further into it, you realize that just smoking a cigar is cool. It doesn't matter what the fucking band looks like.
Right.
Like look at Padron bands are nothing fucking spectacular, but goddamn is it fucking cool to smoke a 1964.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just really aged, just classic profile cigar. So when you're first jumping into it, you're like, oh man, War Pig sounds fucking legit. Oh man, I'm a
Right.
badass smoking a cigar or whatever. And then you realize that 90% of the time, I take my band off. Like
Yeah.
smoking a cigar is cool. It doesn't fucking matter what the band looks like, the box looks like.
I don't know why I still typically keep my band on. I guess because I'm afraid that if I take it off, I'm gonna end up with a tear.
Well, and that's,
So
I mean, that's something
these,
we can brisk over with this. It's like band on or off. I know a lot of people that take the band off right away. I usually do. It kind of depends on the feel of the cigar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you gave me a cigar that you have been sitting and aging for a year. You take good care of your cigars.
Mhm.
I know that I can take this band off and I'm not going to have to worry about this shit falling apart.
Yeah.
There are some cigars. The other day, I grabbed a cigar where squeezing it a little bit, I'm like, this fucker's gonna give up on me halfway through. Kept the band on, sure fucking enough.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
it
on
falls
mine,
apart.
the band is sliding up and down. That's a good tell
Yeah.
if you can take it off early. I mean, if it slides, it's not holding on to anything.
And I'm
So,
used to taking bands off for like when I started doing those blind taste tests
yeah.
for you and for all the guys. Those blind taste tests. This goes into the aesthetic aspect of things. Is when I see such and such cigar, when I see a Perdomo band, I'm automatically pre-thinking of what Perdomo gives off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of second nature to me now to take the band off and just not look at the band, not think about what it represents, what it's about, whatever.
Yeah, let the cigar speak for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100. Also for box purchases, like the pie synesthesia. I ended up buying 2 boxes of those and I smoked through them.
Oh yeah.
And or no, well, one and then like damn near a box at the shop.
Yeah.
But smoking so many of those and being super certain that I like that helped me get a box of that. I knew
Oh yeah.
that I needed to get a box of that because I've smoked so many of them that it was just fantastic.
And the story is great. That's another thing. Is like the story behind what it is.
Yeah.
That's why you buy cigars. That's why you buy boxes. That's something you can share, with other people.
Yeah, the story behind that, it's kind of cool. Honestly, I didn't give a shit about that. I liked the way the cigar tasted.
Oh yeah, but just in general, any box, like
Yeah.
there's just certain ones that just stand out. The stories that the brands have stand out, and you just kind of jump on it.
If I had the money, when Plasencia released the Ometepe, I probably would have went ahead and bought a box of that because it's the first cigar to utilize Ometepe as a wrapper.
Yeah.
And lately I've been enjoying a lot of Ometepe. I mean, HVC released their Black Friday Ometepe, and I like that cigar quite a bit. Not as much strength as I thought that cigar would have, but still a good cigar.
They probably like countered the Ometepe wrapper with not so crazy fillers. You know what I mean?
I can't remember the wrapper on that cigar. I'd have to look it up.
But usually in that kind of scenario, if it's not as strong, because Ometepe is supposed to be pretty strong. Usually what they'll do to kind of, like we talked about with sizes, they'll try to use kind of a different tobacco to kind of, I hate using this word, thin it out.
Yeah.
So like Ometepe may be strong,
Even
and then
it
they go
out.
even it out. That's better.
Yeah.
With Ometepe being strong, they may go, hey, okay, so if we're using this for the wrapper, it's kind of heavy. Let's, fill it with something a little more tamer,
Yeah.
kind of even it out. That's a good one. I'm using that now. All right. That's better.
Does a cigar being limited make you want to purchase a box?
I think a lot of it depends on the factors that we talked about. If a cigar is limited, I still have to be interested in the blend. There are certain cigars that are limited that I'm like, I read the blend and I go, yeah, it's good. I mean, we talked about the Don Carlos Fuente.
Well, okay, hold on. Before you say that, I guess what my thinking is like, so like a company like Viaje,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of their stuff is limited,
Yeah.
and it sells quick. So, do you feel like you need to jump on that? Like you were real interested in the Geisha.
Yeah.
Would you have jumped on a box knowing that that's a real limited cigar? You like the idea of it, or the Gojira?
Yeah. But that's also because the blend interested me.
Yeah.
So I think it's Senator, the Foundation
Yes.
Senator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I will say guiltily that I was attracted to the aesthetic before I had even read the blend, so I was already pulled in and fairly sold on the aesthetic, the Egyptian box, and the whole aesthetic of it.
So it can still get you.
It can still get you. It's I'm a history nerd, so the Egyptian box and like the whole story of they had a Egyptian historian come in and do all the hieroglyphs and all, like they put a lot of effort in those aesthetic details that I really appreciated. So yeah, they can still get you. It's rare. It's like far and few between, but then I looked at the blend, and of course the blend has Ecuadorian, and it's just lots of really unique aged tobaccos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, not only does it look good, it looks like they put a lot of effort into the blend. I have to buy a box. And I've bought a box every single year they released it. So
I need to get another box. I actually split a box with you. I didn't get a box myself on all. I'd like to get another box of those. Those are fantastic.
they're such a good cigar. That's my favorite cigar. Easily. Hits all the notes. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends. There are certain limited editions, like I said, like I brought up Don Carlos, like certain limited editions where it's good. Then I look at the blend and I go, I can find this somewhere else. Yeah, it's limited, but it's nothing super crazy.
Right. The box itself can deter me from buying a box of cigars. So, like, for example, if you're getting, say, a Cuban box of the Bolivar,
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the vendor, the Bolivar box is slightly bigger than the cigars.
Yeah.
So during shipping, they can rattle around inside there and break the cap of the cigar or smash the foot.
I'm gonna be
Unless-
honest with you, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I don't buy some of the cabs
yeah.
because they do that. I prefer the I forget the name of the box with the lid that you pop open. That
Yeah.
If a box looks like there's too much space, I'm just not gonna buy a box.
Huh.
That happened. I believe that happened too with Stolen Throne. They
Mhm.
released a Connecticut. I forget the name of it. A buddy of mine bought a box. The box was slightly bigger, and they jostled around. A lot of people were complaining about damaged cigars.
I never thought of that. That's actually, huh.
Yeah. So that's something to look out for. If you can get a good view, like if you're buying online,
Yeah.
you can get a good view of the box from pictures online. Try to pay attention to the space of the box and the cigars. If they're not sitting in there nice and tight, not too tight, but if they're not sitting in there nice and tight and it's shipped to you, you're gonna have issues. You know,
Oh, yeah.
or shipped even to a lounge, they could have major issues.
I mean, the way that some of these delivery services handle,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mentioning certain ones, but the ones that we specifically deal with, there's not a lot of care put into how they handle those boxes, how they handle those shipments. It's all it takes is one time he tosses it up onto another box, or he kind of lightly tosses it onto the ground, jostles everything.
Yep.
Can fuck your whole shit up.
I think El Oso 10th anniversary. I think those may have also been not tight enough in the box. And the funny thing about those cigars too, they're not all the same size actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're good cigars. I mean, they're delicious, but they're not to the T of what the ring gauge and size should be.
I think crowned heads is also similar. That some of the crowned heads I've seen have been like a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe I'm getting too particular and noticing now that there's just more and more cigars that aren't actually 100%. I know they're hand rolled products, but
Yeah.
I mean, there seems to be more and more that are just not straight up the full size.
Yeah. I mean, part of me is very firm on that they're hand rolled. There's gonna be variations. It's bound to happen. And the other part of me is like, I mean, you still
They're putting
have
a
a
press.
Yeah. I mean, you also have a reputation to uphold. You can't say something is this size. It's a Toro size, and then have it, a quarter of an inch short.
Yeah,
Then it's
that's
it's
too
not
much.
a Toro.
Like, we're not gonna bust out a micrometer on your fucking cigar,
Uh-huh.
but
They just kind of like dismiss it. Oh,
if
they won't
if I
notice
can
it.
bust a fucking ruler out, or, and it show up on there, it's a significant difference. And there's quality issues there.
Oh, you have a ruler on your desk somewhere. I know what you use that for.
Well, I'm a growing boy.
A growing boy. Definitely a grower, not a shower.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Pinkies out.
Pinkies out, boys. All right. You want to hit this other question?
Yeah. Yeah, let's ride.
Because this is probably... No offense to all the other questions. You're all special questions. This one's actually a really good question.
I know you'll have a lot to dig in on this, being an assistant manager.
A lot of opinions.
Yeah.
Also from Jeremy. This is Jeremy's day, remember?
Jeremy spoken.
We wish we could get the license for that, just to start out the show that way. So Jeremy asks, what value does a tobacconist bring to a well-educated customer? Great question.
Yeah.
Easily, out of all of them, one of my favorites. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of variances in this. A well-educated customer could possibly not have as good of a palate. I know dudes that come into the lounge that have been smoking 20, 25, 30 years. They can know a lot about cigars, but, for instance, not have a palate. So, a tobacconist, it depends, but a tobacconist could offer a different perspective, I think is what both of us agree would be the biggest thing, is a different perspective, a different way of seeing things, tasting things, experiencing things. I have a dude that buys Atabey Black Ritos by boxes and huffs them down, doesn't take the time to smoke them.
He's not experienced, so you got to teach his ass.
Oh yeah, I mean, but he said he's been smoking forever. So it's one of those
Oh,
scenarios
yeah.
where he's been smoking forever. He loves cigars. He's building a cigar lounge in his house, like floor to ceiling humidors, bar, full bar, leather seats. Saw the pictures of it. It looks phenomenal. But you have someone who's been smoking forever, but I can watch them huff down Black Ritos or huff down the Sanprai Super
Yeah,
Lancero
super, yep.
in an hour and 15. And, he comes to us and goes, oh, well, I have burn issues. Well, if you're smoking for that long and if you're, you know, been smoking for that long of a time, you should know that you're huffing down your cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't you, like, do you really appreciate the flavors you're getting? Do you really appreciate a cigar? Why would you spend $60 on a cigar that you huff down, can't taste?
That goes into what you mentioned prior to starting the podcast here. You can be a long time cigar smoker and not necessarily be experienced
Yeah.
properly. I mean, you know, you're not training your palate. You're not actively trying to understand your palate, what goes into it, understand how to actually get the full benefit of the cigar.
Yeah. Pairings.
Pairings. That's like me. I mean, I smoked since 2013, but I didn't actually take the time to care about my palate and what it is and actually seek out why I like these things.
Oh, yeah.
What am I doing that I could do better? And that started about 2018, 2019, where I really started to think about what the hell I'm smoking and everything.
Yeah.
And then I actually, since that point, I get way more enjoyment out of cigars.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just something I do. I'm more knowledgeable. I can treat my palate better. I can treat myself better. That I have more knowledge.
And I think everyone, not even just us, but I think everyone has the potential to develop that. I think that we all get into a mode, I've been there, where I get into a mode where I'm just smoking to smoke. I'm not looking for anything special. I get into these lulls where, I'm just going to smoke, a half-ass cigar, a crap cigar, a cigar that I don't got to think about. But, I mean, going into the blind taste test stuff that I started implementing at the lounge, it was originally supposed to be a training thing because I felt like we get a cigar, has the band on it, and then everyone just shuts the fuck up, gets on their phone, and starts doing the research. Oh, well, it tastes like this, and it's from this factory, and it has this tobacco in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how the fuck are we all just gonna smoke the same cigar and not talk to each other about it? So I said, you know what, fuck this. There's just this really weird, awkward kind of scenario where I was like, we need to talk more. This is how we learn, as we talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started removing the bands. Every time we get a employee cigar, every time we get a cigar together, I take the bands off. Now we have to talk about it.
Yeah. And actually think about it.
Yeah.
Not just, like you said, drone style.
It's
just
robotic.
jotting down the information. And I don't have to think about it. It's all there online.
Yeah. When one person knows, that one person becomes the public speaker. He's the one that kind of guides and dictates how the conversation goes. But it forces everyone to have to think, including the person that picked it. He knows what the cigar is, but now he has to utilize his knowledge, utilize his intelligence to guide people in the right direction.
Right.
Where they need to go, where they need to figure out. And, I mean, Jay, one of our customers, had watched us doing it. He became interested. And I said, this is not a service just for training. I can do this for customers. You just have to be very open. You don't get to choose. You have to trust me and you have to let me pick it. And what was it? 4 months maybe of doing that. Every time he came in, he's like, here's my card. pick me a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I ask what the price point is, and that was it.
He took the time
Yeah.
to understand the tobacco and understand his palate.
Oh, yeah.
Jay can pick some shit out now.
Oh, dude, I told him, I go, if you didn't have already a great job as it is, we could hire you on the spot and you'd do perfectly fine.
Yeah, he'd make a great tobacconist for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the other day, I tried it with him. It's now getting to the point where
Hold on, I'm gonna go kill this fucking train conductor.
we're gonna go kill a
Hope
train.
they got
conductor?
something to fucking rob.
For fucking real. I thought the chickens were gonna be bad. It's the
Yeah,
fucking
it's
trains.
train.
God
Son
damn
of
it.
a bitch.
Nate has a train, and chickens. Chicken train.
Not running trains on chickens.
He's not running trains on chickens. He has a train that's full of chickens.
Ugh.
That's a poor chicken that you get running trains on. Jesus Christ. Did you know chickens die when you have sex with them?
What?
At least the one that I did.
Oh shit!
That's
that
fucked
poor
up.
chicken.
That poor chicken.
Choking the chicken.
Right in the nuggets. Back to fucking conversation. No, but like Jay, it's getting harder. It also tests me as a tobacconist, as a just in general knowledgeable person. Now it's getting to the point where I can't find a cigar. I'm trying to stump him. At first, it was, you could pick anything. I could pick any close my eyes and grab a cigar, and he couldn't. He's just...
I did stump him one day. And it's funny, because it was a blend that he would have known. But the thing about that cigar was, it was different parts of the plant in that it wasn't totally the same as what he's expecting.
What cigar was it?
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Nah.
But, and it's sometimes you can't guess it just solely off origin or...
Oh, yeah.
You know.
And, I mean, sometimes, like we've talked about before, he could have smoked that cigar 2, 3, 4 times over. Different experience for a different day, different time. I mean, I've given him cigars before where he guesses the blend, but he's stumped. And I'm like...
What it is, and he knows it, yeah.
I tell him what it is. He goes, I literally just smoked this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, it can change. And he's getting to the point now where I have to put in some work now. Before, I could just give him anything, and he just kind of... I guide him through it. He does a lot of I don't knows, and I go, okay, well, think about this. What kind of tobacco gives off these flavor notes? Or he guesses the blend, and I go, okay, well, what kind of companies that we have in the humidor that I've went through with you countless numbers of times, which ones use these funky kind of tobaccos, the Sumatras and the funky kind of stuff. And he can go through my entire humidor in his head, go, well, it's not this, and I know this company has a Sumatra, I know this company does have Sumatra or plays around with Sumatra, and he can narrow it down. And he's getting to the point where I gotta work to stump him. But it's great. Seeing that development from, day 1 to 4 months. Now I can fucking hire him if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the little details.
He's going to have an easier time knowing what he wants to.
He was educating he brought friends in. He was educating them. I was like, fuck, I don't even gotta be here at this point.
The thing is, though, so he's learned a lot.
Yeah.
He still wants a tobacconist to help him decide on what he wants. So even if you are experienced like Jay, you still want an experienced tobacconist to maybe help you with what your mood is that day, what you're feeling that day. You're not totally sure. You can give some information to your tobacconist still.
Yeah.
And even though you know what's in the tobacco and everything like that, having an outside suggestion can help you pick a good cigar for that day.
Yeah, I think the biggest word on that is perspective. I think there will be plenty of people that know just as much as I do, or know almost as much as I do. But, I mean, even myself, as a tobacconist, I learned something I learn something almost every week. Something that I had thought I knew, or something that maybe I knew prior and forgot. You gotta think, we have to remember hundreds of cigars, hundreds of blends, tons of things. I may have known these 5 facts, and then someone comes in that knows something that mentions it, and I double check and I look it up online and I go, well, shit, fuck, you taught me something today. And I'll tell a customer if like it makes them feel good. They tell you something, and you're like, you know, I don't think I fucking knew that. And I'm like, I learned something new today. And so it goes both ways. We're at the end of the day, we're even playing field. We're both human beings that love cigars. So at the end of the day, it's all about, teaching each other, being passionate about this and jumping into it and sharing things with each other, information.
Yeah, and
knowledge.
you're likely to have a good conversation with somebody on your same level. You're going to enjoy that conversation a bit more.
It contributes to the experience.
It really does. Another thing, though, too, so a tobacconist has access to things you don't have, like to reps, coming in and sitting and smoking with staff and really getting in-depth detail about that cigar. Like full-on details. What's going on in the factory when they're making these cigars or on the farm.
Stories. People don't know all the stories of these things. Yeah.
Getting to know industry insiders that come into the shop, and then you can relay that information to an experienced smoker.
Yeah, I mean, so another thing is we have that insider knowledge, but so let's say you and I don't know each other. You come into the lounge. Another thing that some people might not be open for, but I know a lot of people, at least here in the South, are very big on, it's conversation. I mean, it contributes to the experience. If you're coming in and you're really excited about cigars and you really enjoy cigars, you're not smoking just to smoke. We get a lot of those anyway, but I know you don't like being harassed. But if you go into the humidor and instead of me going in trying to sell you something, I'm going in and kind of, you're picking a cigar, and then you and I can have an intellectual conversation where we're both on the same playing field. You know cigars, I know cigars, and we just have a genuine conversation.
It's like that when I was in Illinois at the humidor, and that guy talked to that guy Joe for a whole hour. Yeah. That guy he had a lot of inside knowledge on Davidoff, and that was, man, I if I could have talked to that guy longer, I would have,
Oh yeah, he wasn't trying to sell you. No. He went in as, we are the same. We're friends. We both love cigars. We're both part of that family. Let's have a conversation. I don't go in looking to sell. I don't go in the humidor trying to, like, rubbing my hands together like Mr. Burns.
Yeah. I don't think that sells cigars as much as being able to have the conversation with the consumer.
Oh, absolutely not.
And I feel like a lot of times the consumer will let you know if they want to be sold. That's,
I mean, that's part of my training as a manager, and that's something that I probably should train you guys a little more on. Is there is a list of types of customers, and you just read from the first time they walk into the door, walk into the humidor, you can kind of gauge what kind of customer you're dealing with. You have, like, the really assertive, the dude that likes to lead. You know that he's there, he knows what he's looking for, you don't really have to guide him. You can kind of tell when someone's a little sheepish, a little shy, they don't really know. When you get in the humidor, you have people that you can tell if they want you to choose the cigar or if they just want some information so they can choose the cigar. Mm-hmm. So it's all just reading people's personalities, and it's not easy. But as you get used to it, you start being able to, like, point out people and go, yeah, that guy doesn't want me to fuck with him. That's just, he wants to be left alone.
Something that just came to mind was another thing that a tobacconist can do for you is, like, if you're an experienced smoker and you're not necessarily going into the lounges because you know a lot, if you go into a lounge and you talk to a tobacconist and you get on that friendly conversation level, and the conversation can take you somewhere where you need somebody that has a certain trade or something.
Yeah.
That tobacconist, because they are there, they know their whole customer base.
Yeah.
They can get you in network with somebody.
Oh yeah.
That can help you fulfill whatever kind of need you have.
Even outside of cigars.
Outside of cigars.
Yeah.
You know, there's plenty of times where we connect people together
Mm-hmm.
because we know everybody. We have those friendly conversations. Thanks to cigars, we're sitting there and talking, and we know what other people are doing, and then when we hear something somebody else has going on, we can link people like, oh, you need this, then here, hold on, let me talk to my guy that comes in, and we can link people up together like that.
Oh yeah. I think
and if you're somebody that doesn't really go into lounges much because you have a lot of experience, rethink that, because it's unbelievable how many people in the community are really friendly and are willing to help other people just simply by being a fellow cigar smoker.
oh yeah, the amount of people that come into a lounge brand new, or not into our lounge brand new, they come in not knowing anyone, and they leave knowing at least one person, two people. I've seen so many people make new friends in the lounge just putting themselves out there. You have to be a little more open. You have to be a little more, available. There are people that come in, they have that resting bitch face. They don't want anyone messing with them.
If you're like me, because I used to joke about it too on Discord, but I was the guy, if I went into a lounge, I was sitting in the corner. I didn't want to be bothered by nobody.
Oh yeah.
I was on my own. Working at a lounge opened me up to people a lot more and made me realize, man, lounge life is pretty dope,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
you can sit and talk with you meet all types of great people, man. Funny fucking people.
Yeah.
I was a bit of the hermit, and if you're like me, and let's say you just go to a lounge and that doesn't do it for you, consider maybe just taking part-time at a lounge or something.
Yeah.
Try to work in that environment a little bit to get the feel. You're a good candidate because you have experience.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of force yourself in that situation as being a part-time tobacconist yourself, and you'll come to see that there's a lot more to the lounge than you think, and the experience you can get from a tobacconist,
And if you don't want to work at the lounge, at a lounge, just pull yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
I mean, 90% of these people, that's my favorite thing about a cigar lounge, is everyone's equal playing field. They could be a fucking millionaire. We have tons of dudes that come in, famous dudes, dudes that have tons of money, but everyone's on an even playing field. I don't treat anyone special. I don't do it outside of work either, but I don't treat anyone.
Except, there's one guy that wants to be treated special.
Oh my god,
fuck that guy.
Jesus Christ, fuck that guy. But yeah, it's just I'm not. Everyone's even. We're all cigar people. We're all cigar smokers. We're in that lounge. It doesn't matter how much you make. It doesn't matter what you do. Just we're all even. So just go talk to someone. If they're smoking a cigar you really like, just fucking say it. You don't even have to have a whole ass conversation.
Mm-mm.
But if someone's smoking a cigar you like, fucking say it. You know what I mean? I'm from New York. I'm abrasive as shit. If someone's doing something I like or smoking something I like, yeah, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna go up, talk to them, say, hey, that's top 10 cigar for me. What do you think about it? Just start the conversation. If they don't want to have a conversation, they will make it very apparent. And then you can choose to be like me and continue to talk to them and be abrasive as shit and obnoxious. Or you just back off and find someone else. But there's always someone to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
We're a community. We're a family. If we're smoking cigars, more than likely we are passionate about it, or we at least enjoy it enough to have conversation about it. It's like car guys. Car guys do the same thing. You could be complete fucking strangers if someone goes, oh, a V8, and then the whole
Yeah,
fucking goddamn conversation comes out of it. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
just like it's the same thing, just a different topic.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Is there anything else that a tobacconist can offer?
so I kind of want to touch on this because it's a pet peeve. There are way too many cigar lounges, or way too many tobacconists nowadays that I'm noticing that don't have the knowledge base. The amount of cigar lounges I go into where I know the blend or I know something about the cigar and I want to know some other detail, and they go, "Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look that up." It's okay if you got to look it up
Yeah, I mean, I still have to look stuff up.
every now and then, but like, if every question I ask, and I'll do it just to kind of test the water, see what everyone's, knowledge level's at. If I have to constantly ask questions and you're going, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know." I talk to people that own the cigar lounge. They can't tell me anything.
Yeah.
So I think the goal as a tobacconist is to always keep learning. The goal as a tobacconist is to always be one step ahead of the educated customer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. That's
Yeah.
where it is an easy job. Don't get me wrong. Smoking cigars all day, shooting the shit, like, it's...
If you're a tobacconist listening to this, do yourself a favor, because I know there's a lot of times you're sitting there and you just get to sit and smoke.
Yeah.
There's not much else you can do. Do yourself a favor and start looking up stuff about cigars and tobacco.
Yeah.
Read about what this is.
Anything.
When you look up a cigar, try to look up more about that cigar. So something stock cut, figure out what the fuck stock cut is.
Or the company. What the company's about.
What the company's about. When they started. Start doing research on the clock. When you have that time.
Yeah.
You may become assistant manager or
Oh, yeah.
manager.
It's not
You
worth
know?
it, guys. Don't do it.
The other thing is, though, I wanted to mention, because something you said made me think about it, but, oh, yeah, there's a lot of tobacconists that don't seem to fucking know fuck all. If you're somebody that's well-educated and you notice your local lounge doesn't have a educated person as a tobacconist, consider fucking, again, taking on the role. Doing a job. If you got some time, take it on part-time or something. Because you can foster in your little locale, you can foster more interest in cigars in your area if your local lounge has somebody like you that's knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because something I've noticed is me being able to speak with the knowledge I have of cigars has turned more people onto cigars and made them longtime smokers. So now I have more people to be buddy-buddy with and talk with. I have a more wide community of people to hang out with, share my experiences with,
Yeah.
because, again, part of loving these cigars here is we love sharing them, sharing the experience. I love to show what I love and share that. So if you want to... If you want to have a better community of cigar smokers in your locale, and that also helps with law, because then you have more people to advocate.
Yeah.
And it really it boils down to having knowledgeable people around that can speak on it, and change minds and everything.
And a
so
lot of
consider taking up a part-time, and if the boss doesn't know much, show them that there's more to this than just selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you don't work for the lounge. I mean, so like I'm assuming a lot of these guys are adults, a lot of these guys and gals, sorry. A lot of people are...
A lot of these guys, come on, man. Majority of consumers are guys, fuck that.
Yeah. But like a lot of these people are like... they got full-time jobs, they got kids, they might not have time to pick up a part-time job. That doesn't mean you can't educate. If you are in a humidor and a sales rep, or most of these dudes are sales reps. They're not tobacconists. They sell cigars. They're sales representatives. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're team members, or what they fucking call them. The nice word for it. So it's like a tobacconist knows his shit. A salesperson sells the shit. So it's one of those
her shit.
or her his or her shit. They shit. But it's like one of those things with being more open, with starting those conversations, with any of it. And it doesn't matter if it's other customers or if it's with, the sales rep that comes in and asks you questions. You can, even if it's just little tidbits of information, like I said, I've had conversations. I feel like I know a ton about cigars. I've had conversations with dudes that they share with me something and I go, really? Are you fucking serious? He goes, yeah. And I look it up and I go, holy shit, I learned something new today. Like, that's dope. I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you don't work at a cigar lounge, if you can, abso-fucking-lutely, it's a little bit of an out club. There's not a lot of, job opportunities for that. That's why I jumped on this. It's not a rotating door. They don't lose employees very often. But if you get an opportunity to educate someone, treat it like anything else you like. What are other hobbies you like? What is your job? What do you do? You know what I mean? If I really like something, I want to teach someone about it. So if you like cigars and someone comes in and you can clearly tell that they know dog shit nothing about cigars or the very bare minimum, take an opportunity to jump on it. If I see someone smoking my favorite cigar and they don't know anything, oh yeah, it's my first time trying it, that's your open. That's how you start the conversation. That's how you network. That's how you open yourself up to meeting new people and experiencing things. Tell them about your favorite cigar. What's the story behind the blend? What's the story behind the brand? Now they learned something and they can go and fucking tell their friends when they're smoking a cigar and they think they look cool because, shit, I learned all this. The amount of customers I have that come in that go, oh, you taught me all this stuff. I'm going to go back to my friends with these cigars and we're going to smoke and I'm just going to tell them all the stuff you told me.
Let me ask you this. At our lounge, other than Jay, because we brought up Jay, but who, out of our lounge and our regulars, who do you consider to be one of the most knowledgeable customers there? And then on top of that, give me like a scenario where you've been able to help that pretty knowledgeable consumer. Somebody that comes to mind, I'm thinking, is maybe Pete.
Oh yeah, Pete, for sure.
Yeah.
He's knowledgeable, but there's a thing is, and he'll openly admit this. This is not me shit talking. He knows a lot about cigars, but he will always admit that he has a very particular palate. He doesn't have the palate on the same level. But also,
have you ever been able to nudge Pete into veering away from his palate? Not his wheelhouse.
I mean, he's becoming more open, absolutely. I mean, his wheelhouse kind of fluctuates now. I'm noticing more with just how his day is, what he's having, what he's smoking afterwards. Yesterday or 2 days ago, he came in and said, I'm smoking this. I think it was the 180th H. Upman. I'm smoking this. But I kind of want to ease into it. What's a good first cigar for that? Or he'll come in and he'll go...
Oh, so he'll try something different to get himself to where he wants to be later. He's
open.
firm on something, but he...
Yeah. There's a lot of times he comes in and he'll go, I'm going to be here for a few hours. I need 3 cigars, max $15 a piece, and I want them to transition. He'll go, I want something a little bit lighter, more medium, more full. Or let's do all full in varying degrees, and then you tell me which order I'm smoking them. And he'll do that. And that's part of the tobacconist's job, is not only are we supposed to be one step ahead in knowledge, We're supposed to be building that trust, building the relationships. I'm not. The sales come after you develop all that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going in there bullshitting to get a sale. The knowledge gets the sale. The building the relationship and the trust gets the sale. And if it's a new customer, my whole ideal opportunity to develop a relationship is by having those little conversations. And when I have those little conversations, and they go, he's a cool guy. He's not in here to pester me to buy something. He's here to kind of just get an idea of what I'm here for. And I think those are the biggest things. I have now customers that come straight to me, ask for me. Oh, is Travis in today? Oh, I talked to Travis about this. Is he available? Pete trusts me enough to give me his card and say, pick me 3 cigars, varying strengths in this price point, and then pick how I smoke them. Not even just pick me the smokes. Pick which order do I smoke them in. That's some trust. You're completely putting your entire consumption process on me. You're doing everything except for telling me to smoke the cigars for you. So, I mean, I would say Pete. I'm trying to think of other people.
Brian is pretty knowledgeable, but he's
you're gonna have to blur that out.
Oh shit!
You son of a bitch.
There's a million Brian.
Good luck finding which one it is, assholes, you fucking stalkers.
But Brian is pretty knowledgeable. He's another one I'd say that's stuck in.
Oh yeah, Ken, Brian. I mean that whole like kind of crew that's been there for a decade.
Yeah, they know their stuff.
They know their stuff, but they're always able to learn more. I think that goes into the question where it was, they know stuff, but their palates aren't developed, or they have a good palate, but they don't know a lot of the stories. They don't know a lot of the stuff.
I think if you're lucky and you have some pretty dope tobacconists like us, there's a good chance that the tobacconist may just hand you a stick for free that you haven't had. Mm-hmm. They know what you like, and they come across something that they're like, yo, this customer will like this. Yeah. And you give it to them.
That comes with building the trust and the relationship. Right. Now you're not a salesman, you're a friend. Mm-hmm. Once I'm your friend, then I go, well, shit, I know we don't carry this, but I know a cigar that you're going to really like. Now we're even playing field. It's not dude making sales, customer. It's we're friends. I got this really cool cigar that we don't sell here, and I think you'd really like it. Now we're sharing stories. Now we're building trust. So it's that kind of stuff.
Typically I don't run into these people except for when I'm on the job,
Oh yeah.
So it's if you got a good tobacconist that you've built a repertoire with, and again because we all share, there's a good chance you're gonna get a cigar you may not have had that the tobacconist thinks you will like.
And this is not a typical sales job. Like I know it, a lot of people compare it to, oh well, you're just in sales. Not really. This is a luxury item that is competing with people's extra money, the money that they have extra after bills and whatever. This is a luxury item,
right?
So I'm not sitting here like a car salesman, like I'm not here trying to sell you on stuff.
I'm supposed to spend money on cigars after bills?
Oops. Yeah, I mean typically, yeah. Oops. Wait, you mean I'm not supposed to blow an entire paycheck on boxes of cigars that I have never had before? I'm just basing it off of aesthetic? Oh, fuck.
Fucking Gurkha. Sponsor us.
Sponsor us, Gurkha. I bought so many boxes from you.
All right, let's see.
Not recently.
We've got about 35 minutes here. Maybe let's move to this last suggestion here from Jeremy.
Also, one more note on that. Like the tobacconists having the knowledge base, like you said, do the research. Not everyone has to be like, I know you hate this word, a nerd about cigars. You don't have to be that person that's just like nonstop thinking about tobacco. You're nonstop researching, you're nonstop whatever. Just do some fucking research.
Yeah.
Just have You don't have to know everything
what's
about
in your
cigar.
stock at your shop.
Yeah.
If you're a tobacconist, at least be able to tell me, like, the bare minimum. Yo, I'm looking for Dominican, and you can point me at a straight up Dominican.
The
cigar.
regions. If you know the regions, awesome.
Yeah. If you can't do that, you're fucking up.
And if you can know, biggest thing, know your regions and know what vaguely, even just vaguely, know what flavors they produce.
Right.
At least if I'm pointing at a cigar and I can't remember off the top of my head what the blend is, just tell me, it's from Nicaragua, so it's going to be a little spicy. That's it. That's all I need to know.
Right.
I would like you to know more, but I'm completely okay if you just know the basics. But this I don't know shit, come on now. How'd you get the fucking job if you don't know? I got a goddamn job wearing a Hawaiian shirt and sandals. That was my fucking business attire to apply for a fucking job. And you got the job saying, are you fucking, like, really? Are we really going into this right now?
Boy, some of the guys that we had work for, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for their interviews.
Holy shit. When I got interviewed, he literally goes, well, that's an interesting attire. That's how the conversation started. You already know when you're having an interview and someone goes, well, that's an interesting attire. And
I overdressed for, well, I didn't overdress, but I...
like a button up and shit.
A button up, yeah.
I had a Hawaiian shirt. I had half buttoned. I had the roast beef hanging out, chain, bracelet, jeans cuffed up. I had sandals on.
That's how I should have done.
And he goes, that's an interesting choice of wardrobe. And I go, well, the people that are making these cigars are probably dressed like this. So I'm just embracing the culture. And he goes, okay. And in my head, I'm going, saved. I'm going, fuck, that was dope. But yeah, let's go on to the other stuff. It's Jeremy's day. It's not about my interview.
All right. So Jeremy suggested we talk about storage. You know what? I have to get away from the mic to read that. You want to read what the fuck it says?
Where is it?
That top.
Talk about storage. Myths, best practices, how long to store after receiving your cigars, proper amount of open space in a humidor, desktop versus coolador versus winador, Boveda versus other humidification methods. Just basically storage.
Yeah.
How you store your stuff.
Let me bring up first thing. So this is for anybody. If you're new and you're listening to this, let me tell you this. All right. Your cigars are not going to fucking go bad.
Yeah.
If you leave them sit out for a couple fucking days.
Mm-hmm.
A few days. Because I was worried. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. But I assume that others are like, I had this thought. But knowing that cigars needed to be humidified, I was worried, like, okay, I don't really have a humidification device at home yet, you know, and I'm, like, the lounge didn't carry it, and so I had to go somewhere else, and I knew I wouldn't be able to get to that place in several days, and I was worried that my cigars would go bad just sitting there 3 or 4 days.
It's a question I get all the time.
Yeah. It's not, you're okay. They can sit there for a while, even a week, you know. As long as you get them in humidification, they'll be okay.
And you can have I've had people come in with boxes of Cubans that they had. I'm like, oh, these are dried out. They haven't had any humidification. I got this box at an estate sale. They're not properly kept. Is there any way to save these? If they're not cracked and they're not falling apart, just put them in ease them into a humidified environment. I would say don't jump straight into a 75% humidity, but ease them into a humidity till the point where you can get it to that, 70%.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially the policy or the way that I've always said it is keep them in a humidified environment for the same amount of time they've been outside of an environment. With, for instance, his Cubans, I go, how long have these been out? And he goes, well, I found the box. I'm gonna assume like 2 to 3 years. And I'm like, well, that's kind of fucked up. That's tobacco abuse, and I'm not for that. But I said, okay, so ease them into the humidity. Once you get them to that 70 range, set them in there 2-3 years.
Let me say this too, because those are still smokable. Those dried out ass shits.
Oh, yeah.
They won't be as good
Mm-mm.
as when you do what you're saying.
Yeah.
But them bitches are still smokable. Think about it like this. Back in the day, they didn't have no fucking distilled water. They didn't have no cup.
No.
They would have had major mold issues keeping a cup of water. In
It was the
humidor.
humidity of the environment.
It was the humidity of the environment, and then just keeping them in what they could do best with airtight.
Yeah.
And that's the ways they stored it back in the day.
Do you remember the date that the first humidor was made? I had it. That used to be one of my fun facts, and I can't fucking remember the date.
I'd imagine it was early 1800s.
I think later. I think 1900s.
Oh, really?
Hold on. Let me double check. Because that'll bother me if I don't fucking look it up. It's one of those things where humidors did not really exist.
Right.
I mean...
Now, granted, cigars were smoked a lot quicker back then. But
yeah.
there were times when shops would have them sit there and couldn't sell them because one brand was more popular than another. That brand that wasn't as popular, still smokable after sitting there a fucking year.
1900s.
1900s.
We're talking about something that everyone freaks out about. It's mandatory. I mean, even when we're at the lounge, the amount of times where we're told, oh, well, try to sell them a humidor. If they're buying that many cigars and they don't have a humidor, try to sell them a humidor. Dude, this box that holds humidity is fairly young in the grand scheme of things. Tobacco has been made and stored and smoked for forever before that.
Right. And prior to that, they were probably using clay pots.
Mm-hmm.
Just throw them in with a
wicker
decent
baskets,
seal. Yeah.
clay pots.
Yep.
I mean, and yes, okay, South America, Cuba, that, like, they're a little more humid. I understand that, but I think the point we're trying to get across is, at the end of the day, these are smokable. Like, doesn't matter what the humidity is. A lot of people like their Cubans on a more drier level anyway.
That's me, yeah.
I
like most of my cigars at a drier level.
Yeah, I mean, it's
dry
dried
box
leaves.
every fucking cigar I smoke.
Oh, yeah. It's
At
dried
this point,
leaves.
so.
I mean, as long as you can find a way to keep it together from just kind of disintegrating in your hands, you can fucking smoke it.
Yep. Again, though, won't be as tasty unless you get them to the proper humidity. Because that does help. That does matter.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is don't fucking freak out. And you can still smoke it. Will it be as enjoyable as a properly humidified cigar? Probably not. But you will still get enjoyment out of it. The nicotine will still be there. The flavors will still be there. There may be a bit of harshness from it being dry.
Yeah. It'll combust pretty fast.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, remember we had that display with, it was a Monte Cristo blue. We had that display where it was one cigar standing on that stand. How many years did we have that sitting out?
Oh my God,
We didn't rotate it. We just cycled that one out, put it up there, and just left it.
Yep.
Years. When we took that display down, someone thought it would be funny to dare me to smoke it. I was like, it's a free cigar.
Yeah.
I mean, you mean you dare me to smoke a free cigar? Oh, that's probably going to taste like shit. I lit it up. It smoked all the way down. Did not fall apart also. Didn't fall apart. Tasted. It's the same as kind of drinking a flat soda. You know, like the flavor's not quite right.
Right.
And it's a little more muted. But it's real. You can still fucking consume it. It's still reasonable. I drank a fucking 2-day-old energy drink this morning. Like it doesn't have carbonation. Doesn't taste the best. But like, it still has flavor. You still can get some enjoyment out of it. You're still getting the nicotine out of it.
God, how long was that cigar sitting there?
I mean, like, had to have been...
Like 5 years or so, right?
Well, I've been 5 years. So, we put it up, I want to say, my second Christmas. I mean, it had to have been at least 3 or 4 years.
3 years, sitting out in the open.
Sitting out in the open,
right
in front of the
just
window.
Just getting the humidity from opening the door.
Uh-huh.
You know?
and it was still smokable. It didn't fall apart. I did get a couple of little like micro cracks or whatever, but it combusted so fast that I could smoke through them fast.
I got a cigar sitting on my dad's shelf. It's Ave Maria, the one that comes in a coffin.
Oh yeah.
It's been sitting on his shelf for the past 3 years. I should probably smoke it.
It can't hurt. Give it a try.
Just to see.
It's not bad. I mean, the amount of people that freak out, they get 3-4 cigars and they go, "Oh, well, can you put one of those little water pillows in it?"
Yeah.
Are you planning on smoking these? Oh yeah, like tomorrow we're gonna have a barbecue and we're gonna smoke them.
Yeah, I never give those people a humidification device.
No, you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it. I do give it to people that are like, if they're out of town and they're planning on bringing it home with them.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll hook them up.
It's going on a plane. It's going on a whatever.
Shit happens. You may end up. I mean, COVID may hit again, and now you're in fucking Tennessee for fucking the next 6 months.
Fuck! Now they're gonna know where we're from.
Oh, we've mentioned Tennessee plenty of times.
Oh, have we?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. What part of Tennessee? Middle Tennessee. About 40 minutes south of that.
Just give him your fucking address. Give him your fucking address. He has a bunch of chickens out there that he runs trains on.
Yeah,
you'll be able to hear them from the street.
Oh yeah,
and
the chickens too.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, in going into like the other types of humidification, I'm gonna be honest with you. Boveda, both of these nuts. That's the way to go,
or the other brands. There's another brand, I forget the name, but they're like that style of humidification. The two-way humidification pouches. That's the way to go, for sure.
I mean, you run into so many issues with like the distilled water. You run into so many like mold issues.
Some of those pouches too, you got to be careful of. Any pouch, and this is just from my personal experience, but any pouch you run into where you got to pull a tab, and it's got little vent holes in it, stay away from those, or make sure you keep them vent holes facing up and do not keep them on your cigars.
Yeah.
Because if you accidentally put it upside down, that shit leaks out and it gets all over your cigars. I ruined about 3 cigars because I did that, and it got all over the cigars. And it whatever liquid they were using in there, I mean, it was like a blue liquid.
Yeah.
It was kind of gross looking. It was the Davidoff packs we used to have.
Oh, yeah. Those are, I'm not a fan of those.
Be careful. If it's got a sticker you got to peel off, don't use that. That's not.
I'm a firm believer there is only one type of humidification, and it comes in a 2-way humidification brown bag Boveda. I don't give a shit about any of these other ones.
Yeah.
Like maybe a hot take. I don't really fucking care what anyone else says. That there's only one type of humidification, or just fucking smoke them dry, because it's not worth dealing with all the fucking hassle of babysitting distilled water, babysitting those stupid little fucking orbs, babysitting the fucking sponges.
Unless you had bought yourself those nice premium humidors, the towers that come with like the electric Oasis fan. Yeah. You know, if you got one of them, then you're filling that with distilled water. Those have their own tray. They're not necessarily a movable tray. Just fill that up.
It's gonna be a hot take. They're really cool, really dope. Too much babysitting.
I agree.
I don't have to babysit Boveda. If I had an Oasis, absolutely, I would have one and I'd run it, whatever. But you have to check that at least every few days, 4 or 5 days. They're not big Oases, and they use a lot of humidity depending on how big the box is, how much of the cigars are sucking it up.
Those things to me are a fucking headache. I mean, even that big cool device, I've wanted one for a long time. I got a small Coolador, the Adu. That fucking thing somehow pulls in moisture.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only motherfucker in the world that has, instead of using Bovedas in my humidor, I use desiccant packs, dry packs, to try to pull moisture out. So you buying these things, you spend 5, 6, even 10 grand on one of the things, you could run into all types of fucking issues.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to plug that in.
I got to plug it in.
Same with the Oasis. What happens when you run out of power?
Yeah.
What happened? Like my dad has a lot of those Oases, and it's if the power goes out for a couple days, now you don't open your fucking humidor, or all the humidity is going to flood out. So it's
Bovita though. You just set it.
It's
You're
a fucking
all good.
pouch.
Open
Yeah.
the door, close the door. Open the door, close the
and
door.
it basically tells you 3 months, 6 months. Some of those last even longer than that. So you don't have to check up on it. You literally change it.
I imagine if you're like in a way drier climate, I imagine those last like 1 month. And
Yeah, well,
depending on how often you're opening your.
If I got to
humidor.
change that out every 1 month over babysitting these fucking things for a couple weeks every
Now,
week.
He brings up like proper space.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're using something like an Oasis or something like that, where the humidity is being dispersed,
You need more space.
you need more space.
Yeah.
But something like a Bovita, if you need a lot of Bovitas, but you can fill up, like, and stack your cigars.
Oh, yeah.
On top of
Do
each
a
other.
sandwich.
If you do Bovitas in between,
Yeah.
you can stack. You
Mhm.
don't need as much space. That two-way humidity is right there.
Yeah.
You still maybe want some airflow in there.
Oh, absolutely. I
But-
also like the route that you actually got me into it more, is the separating your cigars into their own individual bags.
Right.
That way you're not running the risk of mold on all your cigars. Tobacco beetles, all your cigars. You put how many do you put in a bag? I put like 10.
Yeah, I max at like 10.
Yeah, you
in a
put like
bag.
10 cigars. They can all be the same cigar or like similar company or whatever. Put 10 in a bag, put a Bovida in it. Now you have one Bovida just working on 10 cigars, and it works out fine.
Yeah,
Now you have them.
they're the 8-gram Bovitas. So, I mean, 8-gram Bovida in
It's
the
like
bag.
$5.
Yeah.
And so-
you can buy. There's sites online where you can buy a whole shit ton of those
Oh,
small
yeah.
Bovitas.
And those are
for a
meant
really
to-
good price.
Those are meant to do 20 to 25 cigars. You have 10 cigars in a bag. That thing's going to last longer than 3 months.
It is. I've
Yeah.
had cigars in there that have lasted a whole year
Oh, yeah.
already with the same Bovita.
And all you need is a seal. I mean, it can be a Ziploc bag. Like you can keep cigars indefinitely as long as you have a sealed, humidified environment. They'll last forever. And it's like, you and I have talked about it. You got me into it, where I may have at a certain point in time came to you a little bit trying to figure out if I needed to make sure I had enough humidity. I was one of those people where I
Yeah.
was like freaking out about the humidity, making sure, I had a humidor that had the proper humidity. And he goes, dude, look at historically how they've done it. It's really not that deep.
It's not.
And then he goes, put it in bags. Put Bovida in each bag. You don't need a hygrometer. You don't need all this fancy shit.
Nope.
It's extra shit.
Yep.
You'll
I
know-
got so back in the day, not back in the day, but I mean, 5 years ago or so, I bought this thing called the Cigar Medic.
Oh, fuck. What is that?
So it's a device. It's got 2 prongs. I think they've updated it where it has 1 prong now. But you could stick it into your cigar, the prongs, to read the humidification of the cigar.
Holy fuck. That's some elitist shit.
Yeah. And I was doing it, and I was like, oh man, my cigar's at fucking 58. That's no good, And
You were a cigar Nazi.
I was being all Nazi about it, and over time, man, I thought about it, like, this is nuts. I don't need to be like on that. Like,
It takes something that's supposed to be relaxing and turns it into a stressful thing.
yeah, and it's not like that at all.
No.
I've learned over time that, dude, cigars are fucking, they're dead, dried leaves. They're pretty. What's the word I'm looking for?
Adaptable.
Adaptable. Yeah,
like-
they're like, they're not as dainty as the industry. I feel like the industry leads you to think.
Yeah, it's corporate. I mean,
Yeah,
how do we sell something else?
How do we sell something
Yeah.
more? And it's really not like that. It's not like
No.
that. You can just, again, put your Bovitas in there. I got hygrometers in my dry box.
Yeah.
That's because I want to make sure that my dry box is not too dry.
Mhm.
As far as using the Bovitas and keeping all my cigars in the bags, I don't fucking read that shit. There's nothing to read it. How's that smoking?
Smoking great.
It's smoking great. It's been in that fucking
I've
bag.
barely had to relight, and like once I used the draw tool, the draw's perfect all the way through.
Yeah.
It tastes phenomenal. So I've only had this like 3 times.
And that's been
fucking
sitting
golden.
in there since December 2023.
Yeah.
And I probably only swapped out a Bovita twice in that bag.
Yeah.
So
It's just not that deep.
not that
This
deep.
is not supposed to be a stressful hobby. It's
No.
not. It's supposed to be relaxing, chill.
But it does take know-how and some experience. Like,
Oh, yeah.
You know, you do want to, properly take care of your shit.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
the
not as hard as...
that's the difference between a salesperson and a tobacconist.
Mm-hmm.
So a salesperson isn't going to tell you that shit. You know what I mean? The amount of times that I've told a customer like that's panicked about, oh well, I don't have a humidor. Oh well, I don't have a way to really keep these. I'm like, dude, go to Walmart, go somewhere, get a fucking Tupperware with a good seal on it. If you want, put a little fucking cedar in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want to, doesn't fucking matter. Put a Bovita pack in there, you're good to go.
You're good to go.
You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on a fucking humidor and a hygrometer and all that. It's great. It looks a lot better. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, if you're just going to smoke those things, don't blow your money on that. Buy more cigars.
Buy more cigars, 100%. Let me give a few other tips, too, when you're storing your shit. Wash your fucking hands. When you're touching your cigars, before you're touching them, wash your fucking hands. Because even the little bit of, food particles left on your hands, for you ate a bag of fucking chips, that grease can get in there. That will create mold.
Yeah.
So wash your hands when you're opening your bag just to give it a little fresh air, or you're opening your humidor and you want to just pick up your cigars and look at them, whatever the reason is. Wash your fucking hands. Be in a more cleanly environment with your cigars, because mold is an issue. Touching your cigar with dirty hands can cause mold.
Yeah.
And also, don't fucking cut a cigar. Put your lips on the motherfucker.
And then put it back in the bag.
And then, yeah, so something's happened to where you can't smoke it.
Uh-huh.
Don't put it back in with the other cigars. Leave that motherfucker laying out and smoke it whenever you can. And it'll be okay sitting there for 3-4 fucking days. You can come back to it and smoke it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be super dry unless you're in a super dry environment. Inside your house, there's a recommended humidity inside your house. If it's sitting in your fucking office or wherever,
Should be fine.
you should be fine, because there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
recommended humidity for you living.
Yes.
So and it just so happens that the cigar is also okay with that humidity of what you require to live.
Oh, this is a weird little thing. What if we are cigars? What if we're just living cigars?
Smoke me.
Ah, shit. Smoke me, puppy.
Smoke me. I'm a Gurkha.
I'm a I'm a Gurkha.
I
I
got
got
chicken feathers
I gotta
coming out of me.
stick up my ass. No, it's Jesus Christ, the fucking things. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have to be that difficult. I'm not gonna lie. I've been guilty of. Granted, I don't put my hands in a lot of fucking dirty shit, but like the food particles and shit, I've been guilty of going into
easy,
my humidor.
It's easy to do, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
I feel like it's pertinent to just try to remind yourself. Well, just wash your fucking hands before doing it. Or
Another reason I like those bags, the bag idea, is they're clear, and you are not opening up your box and letting all the humidity out. They're still being humidified, and you can look at the condition of them. You can still feel what they feel like. You can still see if they're getting mold, if they're falling apart, if they're starting to crack a little bit. You're starting to realize that they might be a little dry.
something I do though is about every 2 to 4 months, I'll go through every bag and just open it.
Air them out. Yeah.
Just to give it a bit of fresh air. Because that air will get stale in there.
Yeah.
I'll just give it some fresh air. So
Plus, it
occasionally-
smells great.
It does smell great when you open that bag. You smell that tobacco. It's been percolating in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Reminds you of the days when you were huffing paint and you just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
open it up. And,
Gasoline,
Yeah.
baby.
Jesus Christ. The good old days. Now I gotta show my ID to get Sudafed. I tell you about that one time I went and I was not feeling well. It was last winter, and I went and I had to get. I don't think it was Sudafed. It was like Mucinex or something random, and
something with that sweet dextromethorphan in it.
Yeah, and so I got a little box, and it goes, oh, get your ID ready. The guy has to come over and get your ID. So he walks over, and I'm with my wife, and he's looking at my ID and typing in the information, and I go, Jesus Christ, I gotta show my ID for one fucking box of Sudafed? And I was like, everyone knows that you need a lot more boxes of Sudafed to make meth for this. And he just like stopped and started laughing. And my wife is looking at me like I'm crazy, and I go, what? Like, I can't, the amount of meth I could get off of a fucking box of Sudafed is not even worth me fucking doing it. But it's just, I don't know. I think all of Jeremy's questions have been answered. Maybe.
I think so. I feel like I could go more on this topic, but looking at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the storage topic is, the thing is it's something that can always be talked about because there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, what I realize is that everyone has their own thing.
Yeah.
Like, you introduced me to your thing, and it's fucking dope. Like, the big box, 400, 500 cigars, separate them into bags. Like, and I have been sitting here doing it my way and going, oh, this just doesn't make sense.
I'm not going to lie. I got that idea. My buddy Mike kind of turned me on to that, because he just...
You're going to have to blur his name
boxes. Yeah, I guess so. I'm going to have to go through and fucking beep, 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 beep.
People are going to think we're...
All right, my buddy, whose name I shall not mention, he turned me on to that idea. And
just make the editing harder. I'm just going to add his name in every once in a while, so you have to listen to this whole thing.
But, God, this may be our longest episode yet. I'm not sure.
Oh, the last one was.
Was it?
Absolutely.
Well, it says we're at 272 bars, so I don't know. This is pretty good. We'll have some outro music here.
Oh yeah.
Jimmy Jam.
Send more questions.
Yeah, get us more questions.
If you get
don't
good
let
questions,
Jeremy do all the work for you guys.
Yeah, fucking slacking. Who knows? If you are asking good enough questions, we may make a whole episode for you.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be titled for Jeremy as well.
Yep.
He's that special. Don't let it go to your head, Jeremy.
No, let it go, baby.
Let it go.
I love you, bro.
Yeah, when you're listening to this, don't touch yourself. Don't do that. It's weird.
Replay that part of me singing that over and over again. You fucking freak.
You fucking sicko. On that note, we're going to end it with masturbation. Yeah, this was good. This was informative.
I think so.
So
maybe it wasn't. Maybe we're just a couple fucking assholes that, are just rambling.
Oh my God, would you say that we were jerkos?
A little bit.
Well, we kind of are a little jerko-ish.
Yeah, I need to maybe get a little rougher.
Yeah, we need to become more jerko.
Yeah.
I feel like we're being too nice.
I listen to other cigar podcasts, and they...
Fuck those other podcasts. How's that for being a jerk?
Yeah. Fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys. I don't give a shit what you say.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed this shit. If not, you know what to do.
Yeah, we don't care. Fuck off.
Peace.
Peace.